talk about the big man, Mr. Ben Affleck, who, of course, has a new movie coming out called The Tender Bar. Is that what it's called? The Tender Bar? Yeah. Where it's directed by George Clooney, and, of course, he stars in... Well, no, he's not the main star. That one dude is from Ready Player One and X-Men. But he did say some things in this interview right here that some people were talking about and some people weren't too happy about also. And then, of course, there was a little bit of a debate that happened on the timeline when this came out from Playlist right here. Oops. See, why do you do that? See, they make everything's an ad. There's like nothing here, but if you click on it, it's an ad. Is that legal? Okay. Well, whatever. So there's Ben right there. Ben Affleck on The Tender Bar, The Last Duel, and saying goodbye to IP content. So right here, Ben Affleck is coming to terms with a new reality. All right. I mean, the biggest takeaway from this interview, mainly for me, is the fact that Ben Affleck has always known where the industry is going. Okay. He talked about streaming and where things were going to be going back in the early 2000s. There's like an old interview that shows up every now and again, a clip from the interview where he kind of talks about where the industry is going. The new reality, and not in regards to his personal life, but his film career. After accumulating a resume filled with massive blockbusters and a Best Picture Oscar, the 49-year-old actor, screenwriter, and director is now in an industry where the viewing dynamics have changed in a post-COVID... Are we post yet? I don't know if we're post yet. Post-COVID marketplace hits such as The Town, The Accountant, and Gone Girl would face an uphill battle at the box office, with older audiences still wary about returning to theaters. It's one reason he's okay that 90% of the people who catch his new movie, George Clooney's The Tender Bar, will watch it on Amazon Prime because, well, they'll actually see it. So he talks about that. Of course, there was 2 months ago, Ridley Scott's Last Duel, which starred and was co-written by Affleck, longtime collaborator Matt Damon, effectively bombed at the box office. But intriguingly, something strange happened. The film became one of the more pirated movies this fall, and buzz about it made a significant comeback both on social media and Hollywood message changed. That's not how Affleck hoped viewers would find Duel, but again, he is coming to terms that the changing times. So this is what he's pretty much saying right here. He says, you may have to adapt to the changing times. I mean, this business has changed, right? You had vaudeville, silent movies, talkies, color, and then there was television. It's continued to evolve and change, said Affleck. Affleck says, I had this with The Way Back. No one was going to see that movie in the theater. That was the last movie I saw before the fucking pandemic came into play. I think I could just feel it. I love the movie. It's a good drama. The audience was like, we want to stream it. We're not going to rush out and see it. People were rushing out to see movies the first weekend. The currency is mostly like young people who just want to get out of the house. And there is a big and growing audience for these interesting adult dramas. But of course, they just don't want to, they don't want to go to the movies. I mean, sometimes they do, but not always. But that audience now has been pretty much put to, especially, with COVID and everything like that, with streamers and the quality, and they want to watch it at home. They don't care. They want to be able to pause it, take a leak, watch the rest tomorrow. They don't want to watch the whole thing. I mean, he's got a point right there. And you could get a good 65-inch flat screen for $180 at Walmart. It's kind of democratized that access because it's not the 11-inch black and white that I had when I was a kid. I actually had one of those too. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if any of you guys had that. I had a black and white TV. My first TV was black and white. It was a big-time hand-me-down from my parents right there. So, and then it says, also important to Affleck, no longer doing films on IP franchises. That's great for others, and he'll enjoy it from afar, but that's not what makes him happy. As to whether the DGA award winner will direct again, that's not one of the topics that always candled Affleck Affleck discussed in our interview yesterday. So that's what mainly people were talking about right there. That's what mainly people were talking about. The fact that he might be walking away from all that. Ben Affleck, it's a good book, blah, blah, blah. Where's it right here? I should have highlighted it. But yeah, that's the biggest thing right there. That was the biggest take when it came to will he direct again? And of course, will he do these big IP movies? Well, yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right there, legend. Batman will definitely not be a flop, of course. But yeah, so he's basically just kind of indicating the fact that, well, here it is right here. When he talks about directing right here, he says, there is, after Live by Night, I was away from home, I missed my kids, and touching on the themes of this movie, I just didn't want to be gone at all. I didn't want to miss any more days than I had to. I got divorced, I had shared custody, so half the time I'm trying to press, press in everything, and I can to have the time and be a full-time dad 3.5 days a week. And I was just like, I don't know how to direct a movie without having to kind of be all in. I'm just worried I won't be good. I just worry it won't be good if I'm not the first guy there and the last one to leave the editing room 15 hours a day and prepped for 16 weeks. That's a year of your life, and I love the movies that I directed, but I missed some days I wish I hadn't. And right now, he's kind of talking about how everything's right now. He got 9 more years until my youngest child goes to college. Maybe I'll direct something in that time. If I could do that in LA, if I could do short term, if I can create a schedule that works where maybe I could be home for dinner to see my kids. I was encouraged by the way Ridley Scott shot, because he was able to really to get really good material and a beautiful full movie, and you don't have to be there from 6 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. Yeah, everybody talks about how Ridley Scott is just like go, 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 go. You got one take, you good with it, we're good. Go, go, go to the next one. I think Ridley Scott, that's what's so beautiful about Ridley Scott, is the fact that he's just like a go, go, go. He's not doing 80 takes like some directors do and like fully being there. He wants to get home too. Ridley Scott's like, what, 83 years old, something like that? He knows. He's all, let's move on. So he was really talking about that. But, so it's a good interview. Hopefully you guys will check it out. But yeah, the biggest takeaway, I guess you could say, from that was the fact that, when it comes to hashtag make that Batfleck movie, remember, not last week, we heard that Daniel RPK was talking about how HBO Max offered him a Batman series and he turned it down. I told you guys that if you go back to me talking about this, I was like, yeah, they very much would want Ben Affleck to come back. But it's up to him. It's not going to be up to them. It's up to him. That's why when everybody was always tagging like HBO Max and Warner Brothers and everything to make the Batfleck movie, I'm like, they want, or series, whatever the hell they wanted to do. I was like, no, I think they want to, but it's up to him if he wants to. We got to remember, guys, he is 49 years old now. He is 49 years old. So obviously he's going to be getting up there. When it comes to the Justice League cast, let's face it, it's going to be probably harder to get him to come back than anybody else. But at the same time, I'm kind of thinking, okay, so he said all that about he doesn't want to do, he doesn't want to do those IPs anymore, those big IPs that have that built-in audience already. So there's already like an expectation, I guess you could say. He wants to do things a little bit differently. But then again, he is coming back for The Flash. And fingers crossed, he might be coming back for Batgirl. Who knows? But at the same time, it kind of makes sense because he's coming back in like kind of like one scene, maybe 2 scenes. Maybe there's one scene where he's in the Bat costume and then another scene where he's Bruce. To me, it almost seems like he's okay with that. And maybe at one point he was just like fully done after all that happened with BVS and with Justice League. He was just over it. That's why he went on Jimmy Kimmel and said, "I'm not Batman." I think he actually meant it. But, when things were kind of brewing up, when it came to like maybe the Snyder Cut's going to be coming out, maybe or whatever the hell, or like the Snyder Cut was already announced, I think, yes. Because I was hearing stuff like back in like June of last year that he was kind of like going, hey, maybe maybe something's going to happen. And I kept hearing stuff like, yeah, HBO Max wants him to do his. And then I heard that maybe that might be divided up into 2 parts. Wouldn't be an actual series, but it'd be a 2-part kind of event that would happen. But then again, there was things I also heard, like when it came to the Flash, for him to come back as the Flash, it almost sounds like a Jamie Foxx situation too, a little bit, because remember, to get Jamie Foxx to come back to play Electro, he wasn't going to get in all that fucking makeup again. He wasn't going to do all that again. He wasn't going to sit in the makeup chair and do all that. I think when it came to Ben Affleck coming back as Batman, I think they had to adjust the costume a little bit, because let's face it, that's a heavy bat costume. It's pretty tight, probably rides up, pretty hot in there. And when it came to the Justice League cowl, his neck did not move as well as the BVS cowl. The BVS cowl seemed like it was nice. He could move his neck. He could do anything and just kind of, whatever. But when it came to, he was a little bit more stiff when it came to the Justice League costume. Even though, let's face it, the BVS costume, superior. It is. It's superior. We like it more. And I know, but I think Zack said it was like, oh no, he can move his neck in the cowl. But let's face it, you watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, there's times where he's doing the Batman turn, the shoulder turn. He's doing that stuff. So a little bit. So I think what they actually had to do, order him to put the Bat costume back on again for the Flash movie, they had to make it a little bit more easier to move. And from what we've seen from the stuntman on the Bat bike, the Bat cycle, rolling through it, the costume looks like it's a little bit more, loose, I guess you could say. Loose. So, So then you got to think about that. You got to think about when it comes to him coming back and doing his movie. And I even said this when we were talking about the whole RPK thing. It's like, when he gave that script to a trusted friend, the friend said, if you make this, it will kill you. And Ben right now is happy. He's healthy. He's doing things. He's doing a lot of things. You look at his future movies. He's got a whole laundry list of them. And then, of course, we heard about Joe Ming also kind of just kind of gave it up. Yeah, it kind of sucks. It hits you. It hits you right in the heart a little bit, because you're like, God damn it. We really want to see that Batman script that he had. We really want to see it. I wouldn't say completely lose hope, but let's face it, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be in the cards. But then again, we'll see what happens after The Flash and then maybe Batgirl. Who knows? Because we'll be talking about J.K. Simmons and what he had to say about the connection that Batgirl has to Justice League and whatnot. So, but yeah. So that's what a lot of people were talking about. Of course, you got to take it all with a grain of salt. Who knows? Who knows? I don't want to kill the optimism for possibly seeing Ben Affleck's Batman story, but like I said, he ain't getting any younger. And definitely if that does happen, he ain't gonna direct. And I thought that was crazy when they announced that. I think all of us thought it was crazy, because it was like, really, you're gonna do your thing and then walk behind and look at the monitor, and yeah, it's not gonna be easy. Definitely not gonna be easy in that big heavy bat suit. So, but yeah. So, anyways, we still got another Batman movie coming out, and we got him coming back as Batman in the Flash movie too. So we got all kinds of Batman coming out, but we'll see. Maybe he'll change his mind. I don't know, but yeah, between what we've been hearing, it just seems like it's kind of just. But at the same time too, when it comes to possibly. I always said that he would come back for Zack. He would always come back for Zack, and of course he did when it came to the additional photography for Zack Snyder's Justice League. So then when you got these, if there's a possibility for sequels, and if Zack's not going to fully be there, I don't know if he'd be game for it, but then you kind of think well, maybe they'll do something else different. I don't know. Everything's so up in the air, but at the same time, I'm just going, you know what? Ben's happy. He's healthy. That's what matters. He's going to do what he wants to do, and maybe he'll have a change of heart, because like I said, he was done with Batman, it seemed, and then all of a sudden he's going to be back for The Flash. We'll see. That's all. Turn the story into a graphic novel. Don't say that, Darren. Don't say that. You're going to get a dog pile. Trust me, you'll get a dog pile. Just don't say it on Twitter. That's all. Yeah. But you got to realize too, when it comes to Justice League sequels, we all know that Batman probably was not going to be He probably wasn't going to have much of a presence in the third one because, I don't know, depending on how everything got adjusted, we know that he was going to end up sacrificing himself. I mean, that's how it was supposed to end, or like Batman was going to sacrifice himself when it came to Zack Snyder's story. So how much would he be involved in the third one? That'd be an interesting, question to ask people involved. And, that would probably be a good selling point too. Is like, hey, you don't have to be in that freaking heavy, tight costume that much, Ben. But I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, if a graphic novel, again, not what we want. Okay, I don't know how many times I had to say that. Not what we want, but if that's all we can get, just to see what the story would have been like, so be it. I'd be down for it. If that's all we're going to get, that's all we're going to get. But I don't know. But it just seemed, all I know is he's happy, he's healthy. Let the man do what the fuck he wants to do, okay? It's up to him. It's up to him. He's got, I will miss seeing that glorious chin, but again, we could see it one more time, just like my chin. His is better, though.